Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming back. I want to talk again because things are ramping up relatively quickly. If you watch the world stage and what's happening, I keep harping on this bit that Canada is a fascist country. Things have happened in my own life which point more and more directly to the fact that Canada has turned fascist. We don't have democracy anymore. The problem we have in Canada is all the judges belong to the government. All of the judges of Canada have their minds made up when you walk into the courtroom. They have already made a decision with a lawyer, usually the Crown's lawyer, the government. The government doesn't like to call itself government anymore in Canada. They call themselves the Crown, and that's to scare you off, which it should. However, let's go back to this. I have been going through this long-standing argument with Revenue Canada. I'm not the only one. There's a woman in Nova Scotia, Canada, who 3 years ago had settled a problem. Revenue Canada said that she owed them a pile of money. She's raising 2 or 3 children on her own. She's a single mommy. So she solved the problem. She thought it had gone away. The very next year it came back with penalties this time. So now she has to go through the entire process. She did not keep any of the written documentation she had gotten from Revenue Canada saying she's innocent. So now she has to prove her innocence a second time, which she did, but it took months. This year, it came back a time, third time, more penalties. And she's at wit's end because now the government has gotten quite nasty. She's about to lose her house. The fascist government of Canada destroys documents that shows the innocence of the people of Canada to the allegations made against them by the Crown. The government never says government anymore. They say Crown. I've been there myself. Many times in the courtrooms of Canada, one judge, his name is Stevenson, who kept saying to me over and over, laughing about it, he kept saying, Mr. Wheaton, I cannot rely upon anything that you say or any document you bring here to show your innocence to the allegations made against you by the Crown. He never says government. If you can find a judge anywhere in Canada that says government, good luck. They don't exist. They say Crown now. This has been happening since we had a Prime Minister called Pierre Elliott Trudeau, who used to do pirouettes behind the Queen because he hates anything English. Anything. And now we have his son. He's wearing fake eyebrows. One falls off. The other one's drooping into his eye. And as I've said before, the man is a narcissist. I think actually there may be something else happening in his life. I'm not sure. He's got a nanny. They are paying her $45,000 a year. He has 3 children. His wife, to my knowledge, does not have a job. And so for some reason, she can't raise the children or doesn't want to raise the children. I grew up in a family of 5 kids. My mother raised us all. Somehow, Justin Trudeau's wife needs help. Do you want to guess what country this person comes from? Where I'm working right now in Canada, I am surprised at how many people are here from the Philippines. It's like, Jesus, could we get more in here? Plus, we have temporary work visas. Mexicans, there are, I believe, 60,000 right now in just the city I'm working in. 60,000 Mexicans have work permits. They're doing roofing, painting, pick something. I didn't say that they're not hardworking people. They make their money. They work like everybody else does. In fact, there's a very famous case. We have a bridge called the Lions Gate Bridge, and it's a very old bridge, but it needed a new driving surface. So the union that got the job decided it wanted to get some foreign workers, so it brought a whole bunch of people from Mexico to work on that bridge, and they paid them a shit wage. Somehow the government of Canada thought this was okay. The government of British Columbia, this province, that's okay. So the workers finished the job. They went back to Mexico. Somehow they found a smart as hell lawyer who decided that this is contrary to labor law of Canada. Nobody in Canada ever thought of labor law because we don't have law. We don't. So the lawyer takes them to court. The government was quite embarrassed, settled it fast. Luckily, they all got their money. But nobody in Canada got worked here. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. There are people. Similar to a bridge to the Vancouver Airport, YVR. That bridge, I know a lot about it because I worked at YVR. That bridge, the contract that came up, the airport, which is partly federally owned, it's kind of a complicated thing, which is normally it is. That's how we do things in Canada. The Crown makes it so complicated you can't figure out what's actually going on. It's like the RCMP will say, well, we can't figure this out. We just don't know what this all means. Well, of course not, because it's going this way, and then it goes 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 this way, and then pretty soon it's like, aren't you tired yet? Don't you want to give it up? Because you can go to the courtroom and talk to the judge, and the judge is going to rub their nose and rub their eyes and look at the clock. And they can't believe you're still standing there. And this has happened to me many times. Every time, even in small claims court, the judge laughed, made fun of me, clapped his hands together. It was really, I was like, my lawyer friend who was sitting in the back row, he starts to click his pen. He wrote my legal argument. So I start talking. I start reading from his legal argument. The judge is laughing now. He says, Mr. Wheaton, what are you doing? I said, I'm reading my legal argument. He says, I've just thrown your case out. I said, well, the lawyer for the Crown here, she's lied to you. Oh, you dare say that about a woman lawyer, that she lied to me? I said, these things aren't true. So he asked the woman lawyer, I want to see the documents that you're referring to. Now she's, I don't think I have them with me, Your Honor. What's honorable about a man like that, or any judge who doesn't let you speak? Any judge in Canada that doesn't allow you to bring documents to show your innocence, where's the honor in that? And you must call him honor. I have to do it. It's called contempt of court if you don't. This person is unelected. This person has met with lawyers before I was there, made a decision without my being present. Even when I've hired lawyers, this has happened, and the lawyers can't believe it. It even makes it to the newspapers once in a while. The lawyer protests like the judge can't do what he just did. A judge in Canada may do anything. That's fascism. They are in the pocket of the government. It's quite totally amazing. I get to be quite frustrated by it all, as anyone would. Because, you know, when you're growing up in this country, you know, land of the free, home of the brave, it is not the land of the free. It is not the home of the brave. We are being, I don't want to explain what Canada is actually all about. We are a provider of raw material for the world. Not really the world, I suppose. Well, actually, we do. We export to around the world. Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau decided that he didn't like the Americans in the same way they didn't like the English, so he changed our system of measurement to metric, which is the system of measurement for Europe, continental Europe. And he said Canada is going to become, its major trading partner is not going to be the United States anymore, it's going to be Europe. That's why he changed the measurement. Our major trading partner, 70% of our trade, is American, which is not metric at that time. We had lots of problems here in Canada, all compliments of our fascist leader. I don't know why he ever came up with this thing. We're going to switch everything now, and we're going to be Europeans all of a sudden. Bon vivant. But Mr. Trudeau did not hang around in Europe. You know, he's a Frenchman. You would think he'd be in France. Or how about the Mediterranean, the French Mediterranean, you know? He could be swinging with all those cool cats and the actresses and actors, because he loved the drama of it all. He loved actors and actresses. You know, in the French Riviera, I'm sure there are some fabulous French women that hang around there, right? It would be nice. He went to Hollywood. What? Yes. He went to Hollywood or New York City. He really liked the actresses in America. And his son also does not vacation in France. Huh. He vacations in Bermuda at the Aga Khan's private island, which he helped the Aga Khan get $15 million from Canada for a thing called pleurisy. Pleurisy sounds like it's an illness, doesn't it? Like you could call your doctor and say, I'm coming down, I think, with pleurisy. Anyway, the Aga Khan made out with $15 million. He gave $10.5 million to a man who killed an American soldier and wounded another one. He gave $100 million to some women who had sexual assault or a sexual harassment case. I'd like to find this article. I haven't yet found it, so please strike it out of your memory if it's true. If this is not true, but as far as I know, it's $100 million. I believe there are 29 women. They are not working anymore. They found something else to do. You know, when somebody fills up your bank account with a few $1 million, all of a sudden now you can make your own job. I'm working in a building right now, painting it. There are Australians there. This is the second family from Australia. One stayed in Canada for 2 years. These people are staying for 3. They have connected with the university because they're claiming their children all are special needs education children. That's how they got to stay in Canada so long. Normally you can't do this. They're rich. I work for them. They have liquor bottles and wine bottles. I've never seen it. They've got to be going to a specialty store to buy that stuff. I read the labels. I got one. In fact, the lady, she liked the work I did. She gave me a bottle of wine. It's in my fridge right now. It's white wine. It's from France. I'm reading the label. I think, there's not much English on that label. What the hell does all of this mean? But she assured me it's very good. Maybe it is. But that's for the rich. And the rich are growing exponentially. The number of billionaires coming out every year. The rest of us in Canada, we got 60,000 temporary workers coming in from here. In the city of Toronto, there's 800,000 all from the Philippines. The Prime Minister hires from the Philippines. Most of the members of Parliament hire Philippines people. They don't hire Canadians. They don't do it. Why is that? Because Canadians want a living wage. Our Prime Minister says we're going to have middle-class wages here. Middle class. He's bringing in 1 million immigrants in the next 3 years. David Dodge, who used to be the Governor of the Bank of Canada, had a statement. I have it on my computer, and he says this: the only reason immigration numbers are so high is to keep the wages low. Mr. Trudeau knows this. But you know what? Politically speaking, it's not a good idea to say it because nobody wants to vote for you then. You know, all these Canadians who've got kids who don't find jobs, and, you know, they've got student loans coming out of their ears. I'll tell you this one. This one is personal experience of mine. I know 8 people who have been educated and paid to go by the government of Canada to become biologists. 8. I know them all personally. I know them well. 2 of them have master's degrees. Neither of whom has ever been in a lab, not a chemistry lab and not a biology lab, or a physics lab. None of them. I know them all. One is working as a biologist in the United States, never studied biology in his life. He's working in Hawaii. He's a biologist under the NAFTA agreement in Hawaii fraudulently. But you won't find any judge in Canada to support you. I went to court over this. I tried to stop it. The judges rub their nose, they rub their eyes, they look at the clock. Who are the judges then? Do you know that quite a few people in Canada, judges of Canada, used to be police officers? Quite a number of them. That's a great job. If you've become a police officer, you've entered the Millionaires Club. I know one police officer I'm renting here in New Westminster. He was a New Westminster cop. I know him. He goes to Tim Hortons. He started teaching. He doesn't have a high school diploma. Somehow he got this job as a lecturer at a college across the river here. That's the Fraser River I'm talking about. Doing 3 courses. He himself could not get out of high school. But he's educating people who do have high school diplomas. And they want to continue education, but they don't know that this man himself couldn't pass the tests. Couldn't do it. But now he's correcting tests and writing tests, and he's a big shot. So he took early retirement from the New Westminster Police Department at the age of 50, now works full-time as a lecturer. And he loves it. You know, those young kids, they all teach him, oh, professor this, professor that. It must be hard, though. It must make you drink when you get home at night. And, you know, I did not get out of grade 12. I don't have a high school diploma. But I'm teaching all these kids. I'm going to give you one personal experience. An American, we're not friends. I know him well. He's dead now. I know him well. He came from the state of California. He went to a small university in New Brunswick where he had a friend who was working in the fine arts department. In fact, he wasn't just working there, he was the head of the department. And he used to be a war artist from the Korean War, believe it or not. I don't care if you believe me. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you this happened. He got hired as a lecturer in fine arts. He eventually, it didn't take him long, he became a full professor, which takes a long time, but he did it in like less than 2 years. He became a full professor He has a high school diploma from the state of California, somewhere near Orangeville or something, or Bakersfield, whatever it is. I think it's Bakersfield, actually. Orange County. Anyway, when I found out, because he's a drinker, and I know his wife, we were at an art opening. I had a girlfriend who was an artist, and so we go to the art opening. I should give you his name, but I'm not going to. So here he is he's getting a little tipsy on the wine, right? We're all drinking wine or drinking beer or whatever it is. So he comes up with this statement, a slip of the tongue, that he only has a high school diploma. I latched onto it. I did a little investigating. It's true. So, my artist girlfriend is a student at that university. We had a little discussion about this. She went to some of her friends. Did you know that that man never studied art? And he's a fine art professor. Never studied art in his life. But that's how it is in Canada. I know 8 people who are biologists. None of them ever paid for the university. They all got paid to go. Everybody. It's a great life. You know how it works. I've been starting to watch. It's funny how things work out in life. The Godfather trilogy. You know, the Godfather, he's like our Prime Minister. Not just the one we have now, all of them. I keep thinking, you know, this is really kind of like an organized crime boss kind of place. I'm trying not to get more cynical than I already am in Canada, but I've been in the court systems. I've been shouted down by judges. I have been told I'm not speaking, I'm not providing any documents. It's over before I got there. It's a very short hearing. It's less than 5 minutes. That's how we do it in Canada, the world's greatest fascist country. Everybody have a nice day. Toodly-doo. Got to get going now. Running out of time, just like always. Thanks a lot. Bye.